Hello everyone and welcome to episode 69 of Guild Gab, the day before Crit. Oh my god. Okay, I'm blaming the fact that Ruby's in the chat that I just can't. We're doing it live. I can't speak today. I can't do anything. Look at that. My sound effects are on. I don't care. We're doing it live. I'm not starting over. Welcome everyone to episode 69. Today we're going to be talking about the update that came out on Tuesday with the Heart Wings and lots of other cool things. But of course, yeah, I love it. And as well as talking about tomorrow on Guild Chat, there's going to be they're going to talk about things to do in Heart of Thorns in 30 minutes. So we're going to kind of give our view on that. Let me introduce these guys. They're going to be way more articulate than I am today. MMO Winks and Corvus Plays are joining us today.
What's up? What's up?
Oh my gosh. Much love to Alex. He is off doing other non-Guild Wars 2 things. But
Traitor.
Traitor, yeah.
How
dare he?
I can't even today.
Can't even.
Well, Tuesday was super exciting. Tuesday's update. Not only did we get literally like my glider. I mean,
yeah,
it's pink.
I mean, it was made for you.
It was made for me. It's pretty much the Peachy glider. I mean, it's white wings with pink tips. It trails pink. And it rains hearts, and it has a harp sound when the wings come out. I mean...
Which I didn't even know about when, like, I made a little video just on, like, the soaring weapons and in general. I had no idea it made music when I made the video. Such a nice touch.
It was. I didn't know that either, and then I didn't get them right away because I didn't have enough gems to just buy them instantly. And then someone was saying that I previewed them in the window, and then someone said that it makes music. I was like, okay, I got to get these. And that was the video that I put out on YouTube, my little reaction to the actual sound that it makes, and it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Here's a question. So Richie says, like, they're catering to Aurora Peachy now. They're just making whatever his exact, I don't remember his exact quote, but now they're just making gemstone items for her. What would Richie's gemstone item be?
That's a good idea.
He said
a glider that drops Norn heads? I'm not sure.
He did say he wanted a glider that rains skulls.
Oh, damn.
He wants to go totally the opposite.
It's too dark. You have to make it otter like
it has to rain clams.
Clams rain. Yes, it has to rain clams. Of course.
What would Corvus's perfect glider be?
Well, it would have to be probably a mixture of like that River of Souls one and the Winter's Day one, like icy but kind of deathly as well, you know. But musical in a way as well. It'd be hard. That's a challenge, Arena, if you're listening. Design a glider I'll buy.
The Frostfang glider, right?
Oh, well, there you go. Just using the Frostfangs.
Just hold them out to the side.
What about Inks?
Wow.
Perfect Inks glider.
Made of minis.
Minis.
That go to the sides and then get deleted and then more spawn. And...
They rain off and then it goes delete as they get to the end. They're deleted.
You know, actually, I'm a big fan of when you have a combo field, it has like the puzzle pieces, the holographic puzzle pieces that circle.
Oh.
I'm a big fan of the holographic puzzle pieces. So like a glider skin that has holographic puzzle pieces on the wings.
Yeah.
I have no idea how possible that is. And I said this since Ruby's in chat. I said to her a long time ago, there needs to be a mini raptor finisher where they just come out and they just all come out and pounce and eat your guy. So yeah, those are the two things I really want in the store.
Do you think they're gonna start coming out with after a while super silly gliders, like gliders that make no sense? Like they're not wings, they're not I still want the Quaggan balloon glider. I want there to be a Quaggan with like from Up, like you have the giant bunch of balloons and there's a Quaggan and the Quaggan holds you. You just glide. Oh,
so see, I had the Peter Freeze approach where you just strap Drupert to your back of the balloon, glide around, strap a dead
an anvil glider.
An anvil glider. Oh my god, pocket raptors. I called them mini raptors or something. Yeah, pocket raptors.
They are
That'd be
mini.
amazing. Well, there's so many back pieces that they could turn into gliders as well. You know, like the holographic dragon wings and stuff like that. They're,
Yes,
like, amazing.
Obi. Sorry, Obi says the molten jetpack glider. Yes.
There you
I still
go,
wouldn't own it
jetpacks.
because I don't own it, but it should be a glider. Yeah, sure. There's so many. Like, there's so many backpacks in the game already that could be like backpack slash glider combos.
The spinal blades would be cool, I think.
Ooh, yeah. That would be
there's
very
like
cool.
there's really like an unlimited well of ideas for glider skins.
I do have to give one single piece of feedback. One thing that I actually don't like about the Wings of Love glider, is after the harp, you have this beautiful harp sound when the wings come out, and then there's like this slot machine sound that goes on for like 5 or 6 seconds. And then if you
That's
drop
weird.
and you like, put the wings out again, I'm like, oh my god, it's like
That's so
jarring.
strange.
It's really strange.
Why?
It's really odd. I'm like, wasn't the harp enough? Like, that's the only piece of critical feedback I have on it. But I like that they're even. It's interesting that they're even putting sound effects onto the gliders. I think that's really cool because
didn't the
Hawkwings,
Phoenix one didn't the Phoenix one sound like paper or something? I think blowing in the wind. I think.
I think
so.
the deployment sound was different, and then the Hawkwings. I don't think it's every time, but I think sometimes you'll get a little like hawk screech. It's subtle, but it's there. So, yes, and Kai has gone on and on about the Wings of Love glider has a better and more pronounced harp sound than the Minstrel legendary weapon. And
the Minstrel sounds like you've just turned on like Windows 98 or something. Like it's just like it's just a really short, crappy little jingle like that. I'd love to have like some really nice sounds for it.
So, I have to ask: do you want this? These heart wings, do you want them as a back piece as well? Are you a little disappointed that they're not like most of them are combos, right? Not all of them.
Yeah,
some of them
true.
are combos.
I'm not disappointed that they're not back piece because I have the giant white wings and that's what I've been using on my main and I love them. If I had these pink ones, I would probably use those as well when I dye my character's armor pink, which is often. But I think generally the ones with trails haven't been back pieces also. Like the Hawkwings don't have a trail, but they're also back pieces. This, it rains hearts. It has the very pronounced pink trail, so it's not a back piece as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't think that they should have to limit themselves so that every single back piece they have to design it, or every single glider they have to design it as this is also going to be a back piece. Like the Soul glider probably would be. True. I don't know if that would work as a back piece, like not all of them. The paper, the Phoenix one, that wouldn't really work as a back piece. These could because the Hawkwings were both. They could just not have the effects. The back piece doesn't need to rain hearts. But I'm not disappointed that it's not. But if it was and it went and it cost 700 gems or whatever, it still would have been an instant buy. So
yeah. Well, yeah, and that's the real question. So, like, for those players who want it as a back piece as well, just realize that it would have cost you then 700 gems. Gliders, the price point seems to be 400, which I think is a comfortable price point for just a glider skin. And if you want the glider slash backpack skin, then 700, which is an even better deal because backpacks usually cost you 500, which means then you're only getting the glider for 2. That's like half price.
Yeah. It's a very good deal, and you don't have the option to buy both. Like for example, the Hawkwings is the bundle. It's 700 for both the glider and the back piece. I've never had a problem because it's such a good price. I've never had a problem with the fact that you can't buy them separate. Because if you like it enough to be a glider, you should like it enough to want it as a back piece and vice versa. And it's a really good price.
It's a solid price point as well because you can't buy 400 gems. You have to buy 800. So it means like you can pay for gems and get the bundle. It's not like it's 900.
Two gliders. You can get 2 gliders.
2 gliders.
Well, if you have to buy 800 gems anyway, you can buy 2 gliders.
Oh, right.
Oh. True enough.
True.
I mean, you can always convert gold to gems. If you have that kind of currency, but
right. I don't know if I've ever converted gold to gems.
Really?
Ever. Maybe
Small
when
amounts
if I needed
have.
like 14 gems to get to the, to make it even. But
I've definitely sped up
hoard
some
my
of
gold.
my T6 mats for a couple of my legendaries with some gems before.
That's gems to gold.
Oh, gold to
Gold
okay,
gems.
gold to
now
gems.
that I've never done either.
I've done that.
I've definitely
No,
never
I've
done gems to
definitely-
gold.
It's been like an instant regret though, when they've had
I've-
like tiny, like the earmuffs or something for
Yeah,
Winter's
yeah.
Day. Like I've done it with things like that before. But
Right.
When I'm usually short 100 gems or maybe less, then I'll convert gold to gems. I've definitely done the reverse. Ooh.
Gems to gold.
it feels
Yeah,
cheap.
I've definitely done the reverse. Yeah, I don't love doing that, but I've definitely done it a couple of times. If I'm just like I have to have this and I'm short, I'm like, or even sometimes because I'm a big die collector. Still a lot I'm missing, obviously. But if a new die set comes out, I'll look to see what they're like on the trading post. Like, I'll give them a couple of days because they always like, I want 1,000 gold for this gem for this die, and it's like you're insane. And you just wait a couple of days, and it drops down to a more reasonable, like 20 gold a piece or whatever they are. And then I'll do the math as to, well, if I would buy 6 die kits, it would cost me X number of gems. If I convert that into gold, can I buy them all? And
Right.
if the answer is yes, then I'll actually do that. I'll buy the gems and then convert to gold. And now I have all my dies without playing RNG time.
Right. I have the worst luck with dies, like the absolute worst.
Yeah, I've tried. Believe me, I bought 25 packs here and 20, and it's like I get one, and it's like I should have just converted to gold. I could have all of them. What am I doing? Yeah.
I love when
so-
I'm streaming and people see I have like, I don't know, 10 unidentified dies in my bank. They're like, why don't you open those? I'm like, you don't understand. It's going to be 9 commons and maybe 1 rare that I already have. Like, it's terrible.
Now you can get them, like you can get some of the kits in like the Black Lion chest. I think I've gotten one
Yeah,
like,
you
special
can.
die at that. Like every once in a while I'll have a key and I'll open a chest and it's like you get Glint's pack. I forget which packs are actually in there, but you'll get Glint's and it's like, oh yeah, and you open it and it's like common silver and it's like, what?
Really?
No,
Really?
this is wrong. I'm gonna submit a ticket. This is not right. don't do that. But yeah, like I've gotten lucky once, like from those. So that's nice when that happens, but it's still pretty
Yeah.
rare.
I have such a weird relationship with Black Lion chests. Like I find it really tempting and really like addictive. Like I don't know, say if I have like 400 gems left over, I'll be like I could convert it to like I don't know 50 gold or something, or I could buy a Black Lion chest. And so I'll do that. I'll spend it on loads of keys and then I'll get nothing at all or I'll get something that's like worth 8 gold and feel like, yeah, I got something that's worth 8 gold, forgetting that, I could have just got 50 gold if I just converted it. And I don't know, I love opening them though. So it's kind
fun.
of, I don't know.
I've become a key hoarder though. I do my key farm every week now, and I think I have 31 or 32 keys sitting in my bank. And I'm waiting for like when they put that extra special thing in there, like
Yeah.
Super Adventure Box minis are now in there. I regret not doing that last year, so I'm waiting until they put something special in the mix, and then I'm just gonna
I
open them all.
should
It's
do
gonna be
that.
so much fun.
I should do that, but I get a key and I'm like, this will be the key. This is the magic.
This
This
will
is
have
the
every
key.
node in it.
That will give me a node.
Yes.
It never does. But you should totally like if you do what Aurora does, which you totally should, by the way, because it's only once a week now. Definitely, you should hoard them till a new patch comes, and there's some like every once in a while. It seems like every couple months, ArenaNet changes up the contents of the Black Lion chest, what's inside, new minis or new die packs or skins for Stronghold or whatever the case is. Wait for that to happen, or like lucky envelopes just left. If you wanted extra lucky envelopes, you could have got that, or whatever they add. Sometimes they add something extra in there.
Yeah.
Wait for those times and then use your
definitely.
bulk of keys. Or if you get really desperate, like there's a new Black Lion weapon set that came out and you just don't have the gold and you want to gamble that way, then save it for that kind of stuff. Don't be Inks and just open every time you get a key. It's like, yes, this is gonna be the key. I feel like Charlie Bucket. Like I'm looking for that golden ticket. I just keep trying with every little Wonka bar that I get. It's just never happening.
So what did you guys think about the soaring weapon, the new Black Lion weapons? Uh-oh, Corvus. What was that inhale?
It's been a very long time since there's been a weapon set that I've really not liked, and I really don't like these ones. Just not my thing. They're too colorful, I think, and not in like a, I don't know, like we have vibrant weapons and stuff, but like just the contrast between the colors, it kind of looks really cartoony almost. It's just not really my thing, which is a shame, but hey, there's bound to be sets you don't like.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I kind of fall into the same camp as Corvus, I think. However, I think that if they would have changed the color combination or the color palette a little bit and made it so that they work better with the Hawk wings, then I think they would have been a little bit more, just despite the way that they look, whether you like their looks or not. And there are a couple of them that I do like the look of. But I think that would have appealed a little bit more to players. I see a lot of these like Hawkman and Hawk Girl or Hawk Woman cosplays going around within the game. But the color of the soaring weapons doesn't really match that color profile too well. Yeah. Now, somebody did tweet at Richie, like, see, Bog, they're awesome. And this character had a really great soaring weapon / outfit setup. So it does work, and there are cool combinations out there. But if the color palette was a little different, maybe the primary color should have been some sort of gold and not silver that matches better with the brown. The shield in particular is my favorite because not only does it have the blue highlights, but there's a little bit of that gold highlights in there too. And I felt like, with the exception of one or two weapons, you didn't really get enough of that gold sheen coming off there. If there was a blue sheen and a gold sheen like glowed together on a lot more of the weapons, I think that would have sold that concept a little bit better. But
yeah, there's only a couple that have the glow of both, and when like the short bow has the glow of both the gold and the blue and looks really, really good. You're right, the shield is magnificent. The shield is like, I want the shield. If I used shield on my Guardian, well, I'd use the Love Struck shield, but this one, if I had like a blue, because I've had Celestial, blue, and gold. That's like, if my Guardian's not pink, she's one or a combination of those colors. So like the shield would be perfect for my Guardian. But yeah, the rest of them are just kind of meh. Like, I don't know they're just kind of like, they're cool, but they're just mediocre at the same time. You would really have to like change the look of your armor to make it fit. Like you said, people can do that, and people have done that. But yeah, I just
think they're like kind of they're good, but for like really specific styles that you want your character to be.
The silver, the metal on a number of them looks kind of flat. So like if you look at the great sword, especially the great sword, because it has like a blunted end rather than a sharpened edge, which is great for mesmers, like I said in my video, but for a warrior, I'm hitting you with a metal stick. I don't know. It didn't look very bladed. And then I have to start. I also, when I look at a weapon set, I think about weapon combinations of the characters I play the most. So for Revenant, for example, I play sword axe. I just don't like that axe at all. I like the sword. The sword to me is pretty cool. I don't like that axe at all. No, I didn't like the hammer, which was like two nipples together or something. Two hawk nipples. Guys. I don't know. Yeah. And the shield is cool, but I don't really use shield that much on my Revenant. So.
Yep. I saw a really good feedback when I was previewing them on stream. Someone said that if they would have used different colors, they said they're using colors that they use a lot, like the gold, but granted, gold and white, it goes with it goes with a lot of stuff. If you have all green armor, you could have a gold weapon and it would fit. But they added that blue in there, and the blue is not going to go with. And
they have like red handles as well.
The red handles is really strange too. Yeah, I don't know, but I will say the shield. Good job on the shield. The shield's incredible. I want the shield. The shield is...
Yeah, like I said, there's a couple of the weapons that they really have that cool blue gold with the crystal in the center that pulses, and the weapons that
They do
have
glow.
that,
Yeah.
it's a pulse. It's cool. The weapons that have that show that really well, like the shield has that large surface to show it on. That's why I think it looks so great.
Yeah.
Those really come through, but a lot of the weapons, there's just not enough of it, I guess.
Of course, I was also hoping for a second Love Struck set. I was hoping
You
that
have
the weapons
a-
were gonna
oh,
be
well,
pink,
those-
so
yeah.
I was a little
Those are,
disappointed.
I
I think it's a
was
shame
set-
there
it
wasn't
set
like
me
a
up for
new
disappointment.
Valentine's set.
Those
Yeah.
those are 2 tickets if you want to.
Yeah, the Love Struck has gone down to 2 tickets, so those will get cheaper.
Which is funny. Like, it's a great set when you compare like Soaring to Love Struck. Like, I'm not a big Peach when it comes to the Love Struck stuff. I think that it's a great. I still think it's a great weapon set, regardless of, I don't know who I would ever use it on for my characters, but regardless of that, I think it's a great weapon set for its aesthetics. The glowing heart and the double-bladed axe always gets me. You know, for the one-handed, like a battle axe always gets me. So there's a lot of cool, and the shield is like I don't know, the mystic, the mirror on the wall kind of shield. So some pretty cool ones in that particular
Yeah.
set.
What do you guys think about them adding a wedding preparation package? There's nothing new in it. It's
Yeah.
basically the wedding attire outfit, a name change contract, a total makeover kit, a bouquet of roses, and 5 teleport to friends. And right now, it's for like 1,500 some gems. So even though it's all stuff that has been released before, if you don't, especially if you don't have the wedding attire yet, it's actually a fantastic deal.
Yeah.
Because the wedding outfit alone costs 1,000,
1,000 gems.
and a
Mm.
name
Yeah.
change contract costs 800. A total makeover kit is what, 350? Bouquet of roses is 350. Like, it's a really good deal if you
Yeah.
don't already have the outfit.
Yeah, for sure. These are the kind of bundles that I like seeing from ArenaNet when it comes to these things. We should talk about the weekend sales a little bit as well. But, you know, the wedding outfit came out a while ago. It's 1,000 gems. I think it went on sale one time for like 700 or something at one point. But the thing that makes the wedding attire special is that it's a different outfit for every race and for every sex. So male and females for every race have a different. So it's technically 10 different outfits. Sort of the same theme, obviously, wedding themed, but it's technically 10 different outfits for 1,000 gems, which is why the price is a lot more. And if you're gonna buy this or you're thinking of buying this, then if you have the extra gems, you're definitely saving a lot on name change contracts, which, by the way, you don't see combined in too many deals too often.
Yeah.
And a long time ago, I criticized a little bit about the teleport to friend. Extremely useful in Heartthorn.
Yeah.
Extremely
Very useful. I used it to complete some of the Nevermore collection without getting ley line gliding using a teleport.
Oh.
Super easy. You can bypass a lot of things with that. Hero
Yes, you
challenges or anything that you need completion for that you don't have the right mastery for. It's useful. I'm kind of confused. Why did they put teleport to friends in the wedding pack though? Like, you're just gonna teleport to the altar?
Just
know,
like
like, what?
just for that little extra item.
I guess it's just
and,
an extra thing.
You know, yeah. You could teleport to your love no matter where they are.
There you go. That's
Dude.
that's the reason.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay.
I mean, you got your name change contract because you'll need to change your name from Corvus to whatever.
Something.
You're putting them on the spot.
Well, I mean, you could. Someone said that you could use it to, because you want your friends at your wedding, but like they're account bound. So if you were getting married and you got the outfit, you could only teleport to places. You couldn't give them to your friends to teleport to you or anything.
Yeah.
Teleport away from the altar. Yeah, you could do that. They should really give us 2 name change contracts so we could turn back.
I played an MMO once where you could divorce your significant other. Like, you got married and it gave you some kind of bonus, like when you were in a party together.
Yeah.
And you could, like, marry somebody else and, like, you
Wedding
had to like.
You'd have to buy a divorce contract.
I forget exactly. I think it was in the Rift. I forget exactly how it worked, but you divorced them and it actually sent you something in the mail saying like you're no longer married to whoever.
Oh, a divorce bundle. It's like the the emo items in the game.
The awkwardness when you were like married to somebody because you wanted the experience bonus, you no longer need it. So you're like,
sorry. Oh my god, it's terrible. The divorce bundle comes with the executioner's outfit.
wow.
And like a Samsung
It
Casimir.
would
and
cost all your
Fahrenheit
gems.
They take half your gold.
You have to
Half
pay.
your gold
You have
goes
to pay your
significant
significant other gems every month.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Valentine's Day. We can't go down this road.
We're terrible.
We are. Okay. So let's talk about the fact that the compact button option was added on Tuesday.
Yeah,
I
Peachy,
heard-
you should be happy.
I heard
this.
about that no less than 80 times on Tuesday. Thank you all. Yes, but like I said, it was not just me. It was a community reaction to that, to what I made as just a silly video, a silly moment from a stream. But big kudos to ArenaNet for making it an option in in the options of the game, just a little checkbox. So that was brilliant. I love that they're adding just a simple checkbox in the options of the game. You know, they're changing basic stuff that's been in the game since launch, but you don't have to. I mean, even first person, even first person, they gave us an option on whether you want that to be available. I mean, I think it's brilliant. You can't complain. You can't complain about it because it's not like, because there was people who didn't want it moved, and you don't have to have it moved. It's great. It's brilliant.
It's good.
It's good.
That's just a straight positive change. This
wrong. Adrenal mushrooms were added to raids.
I have to.
GG.
I have to talk that.
You have to. I don't even use the classes
you know what?
that have long cooldowns, and I was like, the next raid has
Revenant.
to. They have to have adrenal
I play
mushrooms.
Revenant. My cooldowns aren't especially long anyway. But you know what? Let me tell you something. We have Necros. At one point, we had 2 Necros when we were fighting Sabbatha. Oh my gosh, the wait.
Oh, the wait is horrendous.
Like
if
forever.
you die at the wrong time, right after they.
And it would always happen. It's just that like thing that would always happen where it's like, oh, I just popped my Lich Form and everybody dies.
Yep.
Awesome.
Now we all have to just sit here for 2
Well,
minutes.
it's that we have like sort of this inside joke where Savior, who is our Chronomancer, the 2 Necros would say, "Give me juice, give me the juice," and they would go off.
Yeah.
They would go off in a corner, and they would, he would spill the alacrity all over the place. They called it juice me up.
Juice me.
So yeah, the Necros and the Warrior, and if the Warrior banner or something, got messed up.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a little juice, and then they go back to the raid. It's and even then, it still took like a while. So
Yeah.
adrenal mushrooms, such a great change.
Yeah.
Definitely
now
needed.
You just, and not even something to click. You just run over it. All your skills are recharged. You have to have the mastery unlocked. But so now that made everybody start scrambling to, oh crap, I have to get my adrenal mushroom unlocked. But for as much as everybody loved it, I know Bog Otter was super, super happy about it for the exact reasons we mentioned. He did have, while we were raiding yesterday, he did have one complaint about it. And he said, well, now that we're just, we don't have to wait for cooldowns, we're just go, attempt. Because I have no time to go grab a cookie. I mean, you don't have that minute of downtime.
Yeah, there's no little break.
And I'll
Raids
admit,
are ruined now.
being, having to wait for the warrior banners, if we have a Necro, waiting for Lich Form to recharge, you sit there, okay, you get a little, you get your little breather, and so I started doing that. I was like, okay, ready, 3, 2, oh, we're going. Oh my god, it was like so fast. It was so quick fire.
I don't know. I'm gonna be. It'll be great for us because we would waste a lot of time between attempts. Like when you add, like you said, sure, you do get that breather, and if you need it, you should definitely take it between X number of attempts. But like we would have times where it's like we're a minute into the fight, and we're like, you know what, somebody missed a throw. We're not even going to continue. Let's just start over. And then now it's like, now we have to wait 2 minutes before we can fight again. So
and
it's
that's
like
food. That's food and utilities. Very expensive
Yeah.
food and
Oh, yeah.
utilities that time is ticking down on. So it's a money saver, too,
Yeah, big
when
time.
you don't have to
I've been
wait.
I've been using up my, not since start, but the last month or two, I've been using all of my like my food buffs, like 12-hour food buffs. So the problem is that I don't play that character all week, but
Yeah.
Right.
I'll use the food buff, so he's got 12 hours for multiple raids throughout the week, and then I just log off him, and so it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
But yeah, sitting there wastes that clock, right? The clock is ticking, and I'm like, there goes my food buff.
Just watching the money tick down. Yeah.
I can count my money. You Necros are costing me money.
So that was an awesome and unexpected change. I was expecting them to add them for raids here on out. I was honestly not expecting them to add them into the current raid wing. So, GG, ain't it? Good guy, ain't it?
There is an apparent problem
Uh-oh.
with Necros though, and these adrenal mushrooms. So I assume that'll be patched probably
What's that?
It's a shame.
soonish.
The Lich form, I think it's 4 skill, summons minions.
Which is the reason that they run it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and there's no cap to the amount of minions. So you curl down resets and you can just spam it, and have
Now,
tons of little minions.
I talked to Brazil about this. We used to run 2 Necros. We only run one. We only run one now. Sometimes none, because what could happen, and this is even before adrenal mushrooms. Now it's an even bigger issue. But before adrenal mushrooms, they would get so many minions out that wouldn't die ever, that it would screw up Sabbath's targeting. So normally she'll target the furthest target away, and she'll shotgun blast them, and it lays the fire down. Halfway through the fight, there would be so many targets that I think she would, and I don't know this for sure, it would happen to us a lot. Brazil said it's never happened to him, but we would experience this almost every attempt. She would get confused and just start shooting people in melee. She would just pick a new random target, be like, "You're my new friend," and just blast melee, fire everywhere.
Huh.
And
Do you have one person
So
stay
many
at the
problems.
outside that is
Yeah.
the flak target? I think we had that happen once yesterday where she fired into melee for no reason, but I don't know why. That could have something to do with the minions.
So, yeah, so what we would do was we'd have to identify quickly who is her new favorite target. That person would have to run out. And then when the new mini boss would come in, whether it's Knuckles or a card, she would then, when she would go away, and when she came back, she'd be like, okay, now I like the furthest guy away again. Until she would get confused again and then start shooting melee. It was
Huh.
a bit of a problem. But Brazil said he's never seen it happen, yet to my group it happens like every week, multiple times. So just be aware, if you're running Necros like that, and you're confused as to why she's now shooting melee, she's probably chosen a different target.
Good to know. All right. Last thing that I want to talk about for the patch on Tuesday is a bunch of Shatterer fixes. They adjusted a lot of the break bars, and a lot of this stuff they talked about on Guild Chat a couple weeks ago. The Defiance bar at higher levels was much stronger than they intended, so they fixed that so that it doesn't take quite as much CC to break that. But to counter that, the Shatterer has more overall health, which, what eggs? What are you shaking your head?
His health doesn't matter. I think that, I ran with ATT last night. We tried to do a speed run. Our timings got messed up, so I just trashed that video. I didn't actually keep it. The speed run didn't go as planned because like I said, our personal timings were messed up. They'll be attempting that again at some other point. They like to just speed kill bosses. The problem now is his break bar is probably slightly too easy to break. Increasing his health
really?
is good, but it doesn't matter too much. And it's probably still fair overall because this fight is not meant to be a Tequatl. He's not meant to be a Triple Trouble Worm. He's meant to be a step down from that. the argument or the discussion, it wasn't really an argument. The discussion that I had with somebody was that they were like, well, they nerfed his break bar and now it's ridiculously easy to break him and everybody's getting that achievement now. And that was supposed to be the one achievement that was super difficult. And that's partially true. It's partially true. But on the other hand, you were never, at least in my mind, and someone at ArenaNet can correct me, but in my mind, you were never supposed to all stand on the gliding platform together and or just on the cannons and say, okay, 3, 2, 1, glide. Okay, everybody launch your bombs. And that was the only way you were breaking him before. There's no other part of the fight. Everybody would fight him a little bit and then be on the launch pads. Like, everybody had to be on the launch pads in order to break that bar before. That's just not how the fight was designed in my mind anyway. And what if you don't have gliding for whatever reason? Maybe you don't own Heart of Thorns yet, which you should, but what if you didn't? What if you were not max level and you didn't have gliding yet, which is a strong possibility. You know, ArenaNet wanted to make this boss. One of the reasons he's not at Tequatl or Triple Trouble is they want to make the boss available to lower levels for the appropriate level of the map, like level 60 players, for example. And so they wouldn't have gliding anyway. And why they, you know, maybe those players don't need to get that achievement just yet. There's arguments that can be made there for sure. I'm positive that the overall idea for the fight was not everybody stack on the jump pad and launch yourself at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, did they undertune his break bar now? I don't know. It's probably fine the way it is. Increasing his health is nice. Increasing the health of the crystals is nice.
Yeah.
That it keeps him alive for a couple seconds longer. But, you know, in a map full of Hades, it doesn't really matter.
No, I wasn't having trouble. I mean, I think I still have to get that crystal breaking achievement, but I wasn't having any problem, you know, getting my ticks of it, so.
There was definitely issues, and the patch notes cover this for those guys who want to, like, read up on that. But there was definitely patch notes where, like, what would happen is you would actually break his bar, but you did so at, like, the last second, and so, like, he would still take off, even though you broke his bar, which means two things. Number one, you weren't getting triple damage when he falls to the ground. Number two, you weren't seeing his fall animation, which is actually pretty cool. And number three, you weren't actually getting credit for the overall achievement of never letting him fly.
Yeah.
You would still get break bar achievement, like that ticker would tick up to 20 like it normally would, but it wasn't counting for him not taking off. So that was a problem that's been fixed. They have adjusted all that, which is great. And so now when you break him, he actually will fall to the ground, and it's kind of funny. So you should definitely go check it out again and see that.
Sweet. All right, so that's all we have for the patch notes on Tuesday. Guild Chat tomorrow is going to be talking about things to do in Heart of Thorns if you only got about 30 minutes to play. So they've talked about this where they want Heart of Thorns to be accessible to people who have all different time periods to play, whether you have all night to play or whether you only have like half an hour to play after work. You know, they want you to be able to get in game and accomplish something, to feel that sense of accomplishment, you know, even if you only have a little time to play. So what do you guys think? We talked a little bit about this before the show. What do you think these things could be that you could jump in real quickly? Now, my first thought was, oh, adventures. Adventures are fun. They only take, you know, 5 minutes or so. You can go around and do a bunch of them. Yay, you know. And then I was like, wait a minute. If you only have 30 minutes to play, sometimes I spent half that going around trying to find adventures that are open.
Yeah. So
adventures are super fun if you can find ones that are open when you actually have time to play. And I know for me, one of the most frustrating things is doing the map hopping and trying to find, you know, which ones are open on which map. Now you look at the timers to help you, like, okay, it's, you know, 10, 15 minutes before nightfall in Verdant Brink, so there's been time for the events to happen in the map, so that's more likely that, you know, the later events are open, stuff like Salvage Pit and Shooting Gallery. But there's still no guarantee unless you actually waypoint to that map and look to see if they're actually open. So it's still kind of a frustrating system. Yeah,
we definitely talked a lot about this pre-show, about adventures, and Right now I have everything complete in Heart of Thorns as far as mastery tracks go, except I don't have enough mastery points. And the only things that I can really do, there's some achievements here and there between like Dragon Stand event, pre-meta event stuff. There's some living story stuff, or excuse me, story stuff that I can still do for a couple of achievements, and then everything else is tied to like silver in adventures or gold, silver or gold. And so the problem becomes, I think I waited almost a week to do like this salvage pit one, which I did one time and instantly got gold. But it's tied to this chain event, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. But that chain event just doesn't get run by players a whole ton unless you find a map that's pushing like the daytime meta event, and then you have to invest a lot of time pushing that event to open that adventure. And by the way, that adventure is pretty fun to do, especially if you have like the speed mushrooms and stuff. And I would probably do it on a more regular basis. By the way, like adventures are a great source of experience to level up those Heart of Thorns masteries. If you can get them to open, or if you can find ones that are open. So like adventures would be one of those things that's really cool to do. You could hop in and just do an adventure or two, and okay, well, that's all the time I have for today. I'll log out. But they're not always accessible. I don't know for sure, but I know that ArenaNet's aware of this. I think they're working on some sort of solution. I think I read a forum post or a Reddit post or something somewhere. But, obviously we don't have an ETA on that. Adventures are fun. They're just not accessible enough on the fly.
Yeah. I like when I have my Tuesday PG parties, I like to, say, okay, let's all get in a big squad and let's go around and do all the adventures, because that's a group activity we can all do. We can be together. We can all get experience and rewards together. But I feel like half the time it's just looking for ones that are open, because then I'm telling 20 people to, port into Verdant Brink. Oh, they're all closed. It's nighttime. Or, no, that would be my fault for not looking at a timer to see if it's nighttime or not. But, even if it's daytime, we go in there and the bugs in the branches one, and that's the only one that's open. It's like, okay, we ported in here for one adventure. Everybody port to Orc Basin. We port to Orc Basin, and it's pretty much just the floor is lava. And it's like, that's the only one that's open. And it's like, I don't even want to take people to Tangled Depths, because it's like, I only know where one of those are. And I could, and it's like, I'm almost scared to say, okay, let's pour it in here, and then it's going to be closed. So it's just, all I would need is like, I want like a menu. I want a separate menu that says, here's the adventures that are open, here's the approximate time they're going to be open for. Ideally, a little waypoint button that says, okay, port to map, or port right to that adventure, or the closest waypoint to that adventure, and I know that it's going to be open. It's probably a lot to ask, but I just feel like it would just, unless it's some kind of unlock system, Ink said this before the stream, some kind of like, once you get gold in the adventure, it's permanently unlocked. Or something like that, and you can use it for experience farming or something. I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean, getting gold in some of these is pretty damn difficult. Not
right,
some of them are very easy. Some of them are very easy to get gold in. Some of them are a lot more challenging. But we tossed around a couple of ideas, and I'm not sure which one is best. Obviously, this would take some play testing and dev talking and meetings, I'm sure, but maybe if you did the full chain one time to unlock that specific adventure, then it's unlocked on your account, and you can go and talk to the guy and play even on like off-peak times or something. I think the idea for adventures originally was, hey, you do this meta event, it unlocks this adventure. That's sort of like, that's part of the reward, is like, you've been rewarded. You can now go do this adventure. The problem is when you're trying to get silver or gold in some of these, and let's say you're doing the shooting gallery, and it's like, oh, I got 27 that time. I'm so close to 30. I'm going to shoot, and then it closes, and it's like, crap. Now I got to go do the event, or I got to go wait X amount of time to try and do it again, and it interrupts it interrupts your flow trying to do it. And if you're trying to compete against friends, or, just trying to track down some of these can be a bit time-consuming in and of itself. I think adventures are a really cool selling point for Heart of Thorns. Just a little more accessibility, or some sort of permanent accessibility for those like I don't mind going to do something one time to unlock it, like permanently.
Use a guild portal or something, you know, like
Yeah,
teleport
Yeah, there you
people in your
go.
hall to.
something. Something. I don't know exactly what the perfect solution is. I'm sure, that's something that you really need to kind of like nitpick away at. Well, if we do this, then it affects that. There are
Yeah.
pros and cons to having adventures unlocked permanently.
Yeah.
But I think, like, I can promise you, my wife has never done an adventure because she just casually plays Heart of Thorns and runs through the maps, and she just has never come across an unlocked one.
Yeah.
Now she doesn't put in a ton of time. She has a very busy, business life on top of everything else. But when she does play casually and hop in there, she's never done an adventure, and that Heart of Thorns, and she's played since October.
Yeah.
Bad timing, I guess, but
Right. Well, there's a good question. What does she do if she only has 30 minutes to play? What are the things that she does in Heart of Thorns when she logs in? What are stuff that people can do in a short amount of time?
So this wouldn't apply to her, but Nike had a great post, which was mostly about streaming and PvE instanced stuff. But believe it or not, she still goes and does the occasional dungeon path with a group of her friends that she's made over the 3 years. She doesn't do fractals. But if you were with a coordinated group, you could certainly do a number of fractals in 30 minutes. You could do a one-off fractal if you just wanted to do the daily, like today is 17 is one of the dailies. If you just wanted to do 17, you could do that in a very short amount of time, not even 30 minutes, very short. So you can hop in and do a couple fractals. I know dungeons aren't everybody's favorite topic right now, but technically you could do dungeons. She does a lot of gathering. She does quick story instances. Like she still has a lot of characters who hasn't finished the story on those characters, so she does that. If you like PvP, you can hop in and at least catch a match of PvP in 30 minutes, but maybe 2 if you get a quick queue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just a couple of like the ideas. She does a lot of stuff in the guild hall where she mines the different guild halls every day, and she mines her flax every day. I know that doesn't sound too terribly exciting, but she stockpiles that stuff, makes a little bit of money, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's definitely good that they're gonna do this stream because the core game was definitely really good. You could jump in, join a map. There's events popping up everywhere. It was kind of, even if you looked online for a timer, there's always a world boss up somewhere. I think Heart of Thorns, it's definitely a lot harder than the core game to just jump in and instantly see something like, right, I'm gonna do this. Plays around with timers and waiting for events to come up or waiting for daytime or nighttime in Verdant Brink, that kind of thing. So hopefully, like, I don't know, I think this maybe will help people be like, oh yeah, I can do this, or oh, I can start contributing towards this thing, and just help people not feel like they log in, they don't have much time, and they they log out again with no progress towards anything, or just not feeling like they've had fun, because they don't really know what to do with themselves. So I think this stream would be good to highlight some things, and if they can sort out things like adventures or making like downtime between events or just your average short amount of time a bit more worthwhile, then that's definitely going to be good.
Yeah, Friday should be a really great stream. Oh, no, sorry, a little bit of confusion. I started talking about Nike's post and about doing fractals very quickly. That's totally separate from my wife who casually plays Guild Wars 2. Two different people there, guys, sorry.
Your wife is Nike what?
No, yeah. No, I don't know that Nike would appreciate that too much.
Lugos actually had a really good point in chat. There should be Heart of Thorns maps dailies.
Oh yeah, I'd never really thought.
I've never
about
even thought of that either.
Yeah,
I think the only maybe bad thing or the only downside to that would be then you have, when you're trying to fill up maps for meta events, then you have people coming into the maps just to farm or, gather something or, whatever. But it would be good for maybe don't have gathering stuff. Maybe have stuff that do 3 events, or you could have the bigger ones like complete Dragon Stand, like complete the meta events, or there's ones that are just complete a certain number of events. You could have stuff that would contribute to the map. I definitely would go into Heart of Thorns every single day if there was dailies.
Yeah, legit.
I think it's a good idea.
The problem is you can't add it to the normal daily rotation. If that person doesn't own Heart of Thorns, then they can't do those dailies. Now, there is an argument to be made that says, well, there's plenty of other dailies you can do. You can go do PvP, and you can do World vs. World and whatever. You don't have to do the Heart of Thorns dailies.
Yeah,
as
I think
as not
that would
overwhelming.
still be quite restrictive, I think.
That would be a big complaint, I can promise you.
Yeah.
They could, but then this comes into like UI bloat and stuff. But they could do something like Fractals, where you have Fractal dailies. They're kind of hidden in and out of the way, and unless you go looking for them or you go to Fractals, you don't really know that Fractal dailies are there necessarily. But they could do a Heart of Thorns thing like that when you're in a Heart of Thorns map.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go do Vernon Brink dailies today or something. I don't know.
Yeah. But then it's if they add
do an adventure.
If they add like core Guild Wars 2 dailies and Heart of Thorns dailies, people are probably just going to do the core game ones because they're most likely easier or quicker or that kind of thing. Unless they added like a new section.
Right.
So you had core game ones, and then you have Heart of Thorns ones, and maybe they give you map currency as a reward or something instead. And an extra 10 AP or something like that. I don't know.
It would have to work like the Fractals ones. The Fractal dailies aren't a part of the core dailies. Like you have the Quarteria, World vs. World, and PvP dailies. And then if there's a festival, you'll have Winter's Day dailies or Lunar New Year dailies. Fractals are kind of a separate set of dailies. I think the Heart of Thorns ones would have to be their own dailies,
for sure.
like Fractals.
That's a really good idea, though.
Reward-wise, you could reward currency for the particular map that it takes place in, which might help a little bit with that whole situation that goes on with the amount of currency that you need, especially Verdant Brink or even Crystallized, or I think there's another one that's you need quite a bit of, especially airship parts. My gosh, so many airship parts. Yeah. So that could be something. Yeah, that could definitely be something that they could look at. The only concern, I guess, there is how many tabs do you continue to add to that whole system? You know what I mean? I mean, you could simply just add HOT dailies, right? And it won't pop up unless you go to Heart of Thorns or something. Yeah. And there's a lot of ideas there. You could do, events there. You could do one adventure, complete one meta event, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think the last thing we'll end with is Inks brought up. I was asking, what's the community talking about? And he said that one of the things they were talking about was Guild Wars 2 streamers, people who stream Guild Wars 2 every day or even a couple times a week. What is there for them to stream? If you're going to sit down and play Guild Wars 2 for 4, 5, 6 hours, what is there to do? Of course, you've still got your dedicated PvP streamers. You still have dedicated World vs. World streamers. And there's, like for me, I do PvE. I can really only talk personally. When I'm going on for, a 5-hour Guild Wars 2 stream, if I don't have my dailies done, I'll just do my dailies. Lately, I've been working on collections, even older collections that I don't have yet. I've been working on my luminescent armor. I've never got that. And it's actually been super fun to go back to the Silver Wastes and kind of relearn what an amazing map that is. I'm loving it. And collecting my organs and collecting my luminescent threads. And then I'm going to have to go and do Living World Season 2 again. So I know me personally, especially as a more casual player, I can always find something to do. I can always go and run some fractals, or like I said, we could all just go do adventures, the ones that are open, or something. So for me, I like so many different parts of the game that it's pretty easy for me to find something to do. But I don't know if the same goes for other streamers. I don't know what the feedback is there.
Well, so before we even get into this, would you... how would you say, and this is kind of a behind the scenes sort of thing, this is a higher level, maybe a higher level thinking sort of thing that I think the audience might not always think about. It's present, but I don't know that everybody always thinks about this. But as a streamer, when you start streaming, do you just turn on the stream and just say, what am I going to do today? Or do you think about it ahead of time and say, what am I going to do today?
What am I gonna do on Tuesday and on
right,
Friday?
and then kind of plan like, okay, I'm going to do fractals, I'm going to do dungeons, I'm going to do whatever, you know. That's generally, and maybe not everybody's like this, but that's generally how I approach when I'm going to stream. I try to think ahead of time, like, do I want to PvP with the stream today? Okay, that's what I'll do. If I'm not, then what am I doing in game? Nobody wants to sit and watch me play with my inventory for 4 hours, like in Fallout 4. So it's good to not only be like, lots of people watch for the person who's playing. It's not so much the game, and that argument has been made, but it's you also want to kind of provide, like, if you watch Doc, for example, is one of those people who has, like, we're doing this exactly this, like, he's super scheduled. He's just a scheduled guy, right? And when he plays Guild Wars 2 or any game that he plays, he's like, we're gonna world versus world for 2 hours, and then we're gonna do fractals, and then we're gonna, you know what I mean? And a lot of people I think are like that, streamer wise. They sort of plan ahead. So the vibe right now, there's a couple of things. Number one, they talk about structured PvP players and the lack thereof, because it's not seasons right now. So there's not that many streaming because of they took away the what am I thinking of here? The words.
That thing.
That's ranked.
The thing.
Like
there you
ranked.
go. Okay.
Yeah, quite ranked. Jeez. Oh my gosh. And World vs. World needs a lot of work, so that has been sort of a problem for a long time. And then on the PvE side of things, Nike made a post today. It's pretty good. You guys should, if you visit Reddit, I'm not saying you have to, but if you do, you should take a read of it. And he details, like, why he hasn't been streaming and some of the issues, and he offers some solutions as to why that is. And it has a lot to do with he is a PvEer really only. It's what he does when he streams. And, you know, fractals are rewarding, but there's no incentive to do anything other than Swamp Duo. And we know from Colin's roadmap that they're working on fixing that, but that's just the state right now. Dungeons, still profitable, sort of, but less people doing them. There's less incentive. There's less interest from the community. He feels like the rewards need to be doubled. If you only get 33 silver, you should get 66 silver. So it's not where it was before, but it's better than it is now. And then when he would do a dungeon tour, it would take him like 2.5 hours. And so that's a large block of streaming time. Fractals only take 30 minutes right now. But if you had to do, if you were incentivized to do, like, I'll just pick random numbers. If you were incentivized to do 56, 70, and 75, then that would take you longer than doing, like, you know, double Swamp Molten Duo.
Yeah.
And he just talks about a lot of these things. And basically the gist of all of this is the way that, I guess, he as a streamer puts together his program for the day. So this comes back to, all of this comes back to the root of, what do you stream when you play Guild Wars 2? How do you schedule yourself for the day? What do you want to show people, or what do you want to accomplish? He touches on raiding as well. Like, he's in a guild, obviously, that they're done raiding in an hour. And there's some argument there as to, you know, you could show raiding and show different crazy, wacky builds that you wouldn't think would work. Like, Brazil likes to do that, for example. So, you know, that works for some people, doesn't work for other people, I guess. But the concern in the community, or this overarching concern about the streaming thing, is that if streamers are having a hard time coming up with content to stream, show, share, and enjoy together, how does the player base feel? Are they having a hard time coming up with things to do that they enjoy as well?
So that's why this stream on Friday is going to be so important. Even if it just highlights or reminds people what they can be doing in the time they spend in the game, then. But I think in every game mode, a lot of people are kind of logging in and not really feeling like they have very much to do, or it's hard to find incentive, or the goals are kind of too high, so it just feels like impossible to achieve at this point. Um, and yeah, we're still in that kind of downtime. The expansion is still kind of young, and it's a shame that people are starting to feel that stuff now. But it just we have to wait, I guess, for what's coming. Definitely in PvP, having ranked go away, kind of unranked was kind of a mess, and I've not played in a little while any PvP, so I'm not too sure how it is now. But I know it was just being matched against people that just didn't know what they were doing, or with people that didn't know what they were doing, and it just wasn't very fun to play, and for a lot of streamers wasn't very fun to stream. And I think I don't know, it's just quite tricky, and I can imagine, I don't know how you guys are finding it, but to stream at the moment must be pretty... I mean, for Peachy, I think it's fine, right? Because you have everyone there, you kind of just hang out and talk, and that's fine. But if, for the streamers that kind of, they log in and they want to have like a goal, like a thing to stream, I can imagine it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
I guess we just have to wait for more things to come, and...
Yeah.
Well,
and for
the other part of his post... The other part of his post was talking about like Heart of Thorns open world content. He says, I could stream that. I could. But I need to find a proper map, and I need to be in the map early. So now I'm there 20 minutes early. Now I have 20 minutes. And I've definitely done this myself, which I sit and I sit and I chat with chat. And hopefully that fills time up. But, he says, then I sit there for 20 minutes, and then I do the event. Then I'm actually entertaining. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I would say that he's probably not alone in a lot of this stuff. A lot of this is focused on instanced PvE content, but it certainly applies to structured PvP. It applies to world versus world. It applies in general. And just trying to schedule and make your streams fun and entertaining until you just, it really does. And streamers, I think, right now have to be a little bit more creative than normal. Wooden Potatoes had some sort of crazy zombie game that he was pitching, but he's good at that, right? He's good at that creative side of things where he makes up like him and Boots used to make up these games within games,
Right.
Speaking from like a guild perspective, I know ATT goes out of their way to kill bosses that maybe they're not so interesting to other people, but to them they're like, can we kill him in 12 seconds? I bet we can. Let's see if it's possible. Yeah. And then they 50 elementalists and stack this, and they do all this crazy stuff to try and make perfect group compositions. And then the trick is finding the perfect map. Like last night, we're sitting there waiting to do Shatterer, and it's a new patch. Exit the game to download your patch, and they're like, nobody download the patch. Don't do it. Stop. Just sit here. Wait.
Yeah.
Because other people will leave the map, and it's like, this is now our map. It's ours, and that gives them a better chance of success to really get as good a time as they can possibly get, But they're creating content within content, and that's great.
That's fantastic.
And that's really great for a game. There's a lot of games where you just can't even do that,
Mm-hmm.
But
Guild Wars 2 has the openness to be able to do that. People can create jumping puzzles in their guild halls. People create their own PvP arenas in the guild hall arenas, and it's great that it has that openness. And as far as streaming, just the same as everybody plays the game for a different reason, everybody watches a Guild Wars 2 stream for a different reason. Some people will watch for the streamer no matter what they're playing or no matter what they're doing in the game. I'm sure that, like you said, PvP, World versus World, I'm sure those people have, those streamers have a much harder time right now, because they feel like they want to be doing something. They want to be entertaining their audience, and they want to be entertained as well. And, you've got to be having fun as well as a streamer. And so if you're not enjoying the game, that's going to come through to your audience. Yeah. For me, personally, in PvE, I can find anything to entertain me. Whether it's just doing my dailies, hanging out in the guild hall, running around the maps, farming, or doing whatever. I can find a million things to do. You know, like I said, collections. You know, I was very scheduled on Tuesday, and Inks, you had asked this about, you know, some people are very scheduled and some just kind of, turn it on and see what happens. I'm a little bit of both. I'll have my casual days where I'm just like, I'm just going to do whatever I feel like doing, you know, and people watch, and usually I have good numbers and people are entertained because I'm having fun doing what I want to do in the game, and people like to watch other people having fun. But like, for example, on Tuesday, I was very scheduled. I said, okay, we're going to open the lucky envelopes. We're going to get our, you know, our magic find as high as we can get. We actually, you know, made a YouTube video. And then after that, we're going to do some silver waste farming, work on my luminescent armor collections. At 2 o'clock, we're going to do guild missions. And then after that, I'm going to do my weekly key farm, you know, so it's like very, very scheduled. And there was a lot of jam-packed things, a lot of stuff to do. When we do Bog and the Peach on Fridays, you know, we're leveling our revenants, so that's something, you know, we do. And then, like I said, sometimes I have the casual down days. I'll do world bosses, I'll do dailies, I'll do just running around in Heart of Thorns. The only time that I really feel like I get worried because I'm not entertaining or I'm not delivering the content to my audience that I want to is exactly what Ink said with when you want to do a meta event, but you have to get there 20 minutes early. And then you just kind of have to sit there. Like, that is the worst. Like, and I don't know why. I mean, I used to just stand around for literally 3 hours in one place, and we would all just dance and party. But for some reason, standing in a map and waiting for those meta events is like torture for while I'm streaming. Like, if I'm not streaming, I can put my character there, and then I can go get a snack. You know, I can be watching something on the other monitor. So the wait isn't a big deal. But when I'm streaming, I feel like I want to do something big and epic, and that's something we can all do together, is those meta events. But I feel like I don't want to have to sit there for 20 minutes in the map and do what? You know, sure, we just sit there and chat, or we could have a little peachy party, but, you know, not everybody is there with me, and not everybody wants to do that meta event with me, and I don't know why, but I feel like that's just like dead time. I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
So that's probably the worst. Other than that, I can find whatever random thing to do. But I know that not all streamers have that experience. And
yeah, the core issue is, you know, is if you stream, most people, this doesn't actually include me. I'm strange in this way. Sometimes I'll stream for like an hour, and I'm like, okay, I'm done for the day. Hopefully less of that soon. But anyway, you know, Nike says like he wants to stream for 2 hours or more when he sits down to stream, right? Really wants to get something out of it. Really wants to provide a quality stream of 2+ hours of entertainment. And so now he tries to think like, okay, well, what do I do for 2 hours in the game? Certainly you don't want to watch me farm flax and iron for 2 hours. That would be fun.
Right.
So, you know, the question becomes is like, you know, why don't you see as many streamers right now? And how is this, you know, if the streamers are feeling this, how does the community feel themselves? You know, are they sitting around and waiting for a TD map to pop? You know, how does that make them feel? Like you said, you could just, if you have a second monitor, you can watch something else while you're waiting. It's not so bad.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a bit of an issue right now. I think a lot of this has to do with content lull. We're waiting for Living World Season 3. We're waiting for you know, whatever else that's coming down the pipeline. And when those things hit, then it'll be an explosion of content, of things to do. Like, oh, there's not enough time in the day to do everything I need to do, you know? But I think this just happens in lull times, and we're just in one of those modes right now between the PvP championships, World vs. World is getting worked on, Living World Season 3 is in the works. It's just one of those times right now where you need to be creative with your in-game time, and guilds is really what's going to keep players playing, I think, you know, doing stuff with your guild. And raiding for a number of people, because raiding seems to be like the biggest, not for everybody maybe, but one of the bigger home runs in Heart of Thorns. And whenever Wing 2 comes out, that'll be like a big thing.
Yeah.
Now, like, one of the things that they did talk about was like, he's like, well, we don't really show progression because people want to compete times or whatever the case is. I can comfortably say that doesn't apply to me because I'm never going to be first of anybody to clear the raid. So I don't care showing how badly my progression is going. So I guess that's a feather in my cap.
Right.
But, you know, concern for some people.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're going to end the stream there, end the live show. If you are watching live on Twitch, please stay tuned for the post-show craziness and fun. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Leave a comment. Let us know what you liked about the show. And check out all of our links in the description for more Guild Wars 2 content. We go live every single Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So hope to see you then. We'll see you next week. Bye!
Bye! Hope you find your dad! That's going to get so old.